I'm kind of having a day where I'm dealing with a lot of pain and stiffness. So I've been wanting to shoot this video for quite a little while. So because my philosophy on training is to start out really slowly. A lot of times, meaning that I warm up slow. That's kind of my methodology, is a slow, long warm up before I get going into anything really explosive. And I wanted to show this today with my kicks, because when I start doing my kicks today, I'm gonna look like a novice because I'm so bound up and overtrained a little bit and stiff that my kicks are gonna look pretty sad. But little by little, you're gonna see that circulation get into them and the flexibility start to relax and loosen up. So that's what we're looking for, that's what we're going for. So first off, I'm just gonna start out with my feet about shoulder width apart to get ready for the kicks. And I'm gonna just start gently doing a squat. And as I do this, I want my back to stay up straight, so my chest high, and I want my weight primarily in my heels. And you can see, like, I don't have a lot of room for movement, but it's opening up already just a little bit by little bit. And I'm gonna go down as long as I can keep my chest up. So, all right, it's starting to open up. So low, and then up at the top I squeeze. So low, and up at the top squeeze. I'm gonna do just a couple more of these just to get some blood flow, because I'm gonna work my kicks for flexibility, not for power, not for explosiveness, but for flexibility. And when you're doing flexibility stretching, you want to have circulation of blood in the muscle. So that's what the goal is going to be. Once we've got that started, I'm going to do a little bit of wide leg squats as well. So about double shoulder width. Again, just keeping the core really in tune, engaged, and real slow down. I'm pushing the knees out, the toes are pointing forward. The tailbone is tucked under just a little bit, and the core is pulled in, so the belly button is pulled in. Trying to keep the back up straight. And again, I'm just getting the muscles warmed up here. So just a couple more little tiny warm-up exercises, just off to one side. This one, I keep the knee right over the ankle, so pressing up. Core again is pulled in and pressing up. And pressing up. And then we're going to do same thing to this side. So like a bow stance in martial arts or lunge stance. Just probably about 5 of these. Nice and slow, no explosive movements, no bouncing. Core's pulled in, back's up straight. So this is getting the hip flexors, the adductors stretched and warmed up, a little bit of hamstring and glute. And then one more exercise. I'm gonna come back into this leg. So the knees are opposite of each other, and then standing up. So back into that leg and press off of it all the way back and press. And a couple on this side too. Last one. So again, just slow movements, not really forcing any kind of flexibility or anything like that, just good slow movements that work the joints and work the muscles that I'm about to exercise. And then we're gonna just start really slow. That's the only movement kind of warm up I'm gonna go into, and then I'm gonna go straight into my kicks. But I'm not gonna go into head high kicks to start off with, really extending the joints and the muscles. I'm gonna start really low and get the muscles used to the movement that I'm going to do. So it's always funny because when I start doing these, I always look kind of like a white belt. So that's about the extent of my flexibility today. Cold right now is just about waist high. And I'm gonna start, as I feel more and more loose, I'm going to start allowing the kick to come up a little higher. So notice, first off, I'm not throwing any more power. I'm not really using a lot more effort to get it higher. It's just warming up. And then when I want to start throwing power into it, I'm going to start back low again. I'm not going to start at that point where it's going to be at its maximum stretch. So I'm going to start low and as I kick, I'm going to go out slow and back fast. So it's that fast kick, fast recoil. And then, as that feels better and better, I can start putting more power into it higher. And now the shirt has to come off because I'm too warm. Much better. So that was the straight snap kick. So I find it always easier for myself to start with that straight in the line of fire, straight in. So shooting in, shooting in, shooting in. Then I can start working my hamstrings just a little bit by just swinging for the straight-legged kick, like I'm punting a football. And notice the flexibility on this one, again, is not great, but I'm still fairly cold. So, getting better though. And already I can tell the left leg is going to be more flexible than the right. The right's having some issues. Also, exhale there. Keeping the stomach pulled in the whole time. So, inhale, exhale. I'm laughing because that right foot is loving to throw some sand. So let's do another set of these. Straight through, up. This time, going for more power. Couple more. So then I'm gonna go for internal rotation to go for the roundhouse kick. This one usually takes me quite a bit of time to warm up and get going really solidly. So I go really slow from the rear leg around. So see, looks like a white belt. So this way, flap. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So I've already done a couple of passes and I'm not even hardly waist high yet. And I can feel where the leg is tight. So now it's starting to get some flexibility and starting to lift just a little bit. Chest high. Good. Head high. And again, that's going to be about the extent of the flexibility on that one, because I can feel the muscles starting to really get tight and kind of panic a little bit. So instead of going for power, I'll go for control and just keep it slow, not really necessarily wanting to work flexibility, but instead working the technique, opening up the hip, swinging the leg around, closing the hip, snapping the leg back in recoil. Throw some sand. So that would be for what we call the roundhouse kick, like that Muay Thai chop to the outer thigh, how they always do that. For the side thrust that stretches the inside of the leg for the adductors, I'm going to start with lead leg, step, extend, and out. Step, extend, and down. Extend out, down. Out, and down. Back the other side. Out, and down. And again, that right leg, I can feel tight. Even though it's the left side of my body right now is actually injured with my ribs, the right leg is the one that's tight. And then back to the left. And already I feel like it's looser. I'm squeezing the abductor on the outside for the gluteus, and that helps me relax and stretch the adductor inside. Core is pulled in, stomach, belly button reaching in towards the spine, and that way the upper body's connected to the lower body. I'm tight and compact in the core so that I'm hitting with the whole force of my body. That also helps me to keep from doing this with the side kick, which throws momentum that way, which takes away from the kick going that way. So that, not that. Good, so shooting in, head high. Shooting in. So we've worked the front of the extenders, we've worked the adductors inside and the abductors outside. We want to get more of the glutes. So that is going to be shooting straight back, shooting back. And that's going to be squeezing. Again, I don't want to be bent all the way forward. I want to keep a little pull this way and squeeze like that. Pow. Again, I can feel that right leg really cramping up. I'm going to do another set on the right. Core pulled in. Get on some more solid sand. And then reaching. Reaching. So now we've worked the entire way around the hip area. Adductors, extenders, abductors, glutes. And there are still definitely a few kicks to do. Some of the more athletic kicks. So again, really slow, coming in, leading with the heel, hooking. It's the opposite of the roundhouse kick. Hook. Hook. A little more abduction, hams and glutes. So in, kick. This is my favorite kick. When I was doing tournaments, this is the kick. So again, kind of novice looking because it's not super warm. One more time coming back. So the other two kind of kicks are going to be the swinging ones. And this is the progression that I work my kicks out in, because I feel like it's the proper way to warm up that hip joint. So for the crescent kicks, outside crescent and inside crescent, again, no power on these, especially when you're cold, because you can really pull these small muscles really quite easily. So you got to start really slow with these. When I'm starting my crescent kicks, I usually start just by stepping, squeezing the hamstrings and drawing a crescent with the knee. Yeah. And then slow, drawing that crescent with the foot. One of my other favorite kicks. Again, stomach pulled in and loose and relaxed. Not trying to catch and stop the momentum, not really trying to throw the momentum. It's all in that hip action, just swinging that hip out, like I used to call it Elvis Presley type of movements when I teach. Same thing for the inside. Start by drawing inward crescent with the knee, like a knee block, right? Like a check. Not like a knee, but like a check. On really bad days when I'm really cold and stiff, I'll actually start my kicking warm-up with knees for the front thrust, for the roundhouse, for the side thrust, even for the hook kick, and just really work the hip muscles, the whole joint, by just doing knees different directions. And then I'll start doing the actual kicks. So to finish off the kick routine today, just semicircle inward, semicircle in. Again, now I'm warm, which is great because these are small muscles. These were the muscles that I would always pull by starting into my routine too quickly, too explosively, without a proper warm-up, and boom, next thing you know, groin pull, and you're having to do modified training around an injury suddenly, which sucks because I get injured enough without doing it to myself in training, without proper warm-ups. So that's the progression I use. And then, now that the hips are warm, now I would really go in and do an excellent stretch. So say I did kicks for half an hour, or maybe 45 minutes is roughly one of my kicking workouts. I don't stretch before the workout. I warm up this way, dynamically kicking, which stretches me for the kicks I'm going to be doing. That's why my first kicks were knee high, and then they progressed as the blood filled the muscle and the muscle caught on to what we were going to be doing. I really do believe stretching before athletic performance inhibits the performance and makes it worse. And I've done this when I was young. I would warm up and stretch out like crazy before tournaments, and then perform really poorly in tournaments. The best I did in tournaments is when I would kind of show up late, or I'd be off goofing around and they'd call my name. And as we were putting on the gloves and the headgear, I'd be kind of bouncing around and loosening up really quickly and just trying to get loose. And then when the match would start, I would have circulation, blood circulation going, but I hadn't stretched out. So two things to avoid before you perform, whether it's a match or doing forms or just doing a routine like kicks or punches or something like that. Don't stretch out before you do it. Don't get a massage before you do it, because they can both affect you negatively. You want to stretch when the blood is in the muscles, not before it gets there. So if you're warming up to stretch, that's a whole different thing. If you're performing, warm up to perform, and then if you want to stretch after. That's a whole other video though. So thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed the kicks. Let me know how your kicks go with this kind of a routine. But if you do this about every other day, you'll find that you'll build the correct muscles to have good, solid, strong kicks. Not only strong, but fast. And this will help keep that correct alignment, and you'll find the flexibility will come really rapidly, much more so than if you're stretching before the process. So slow warm up, kick, then stretch, give yourself a day to heal. work your punches tomorrow, and then the next day do your kicks again like crazy. And enjoy.